This afternoon on the ETBU Sportsnet. Hello, I'm Mike Midkiff with our first internet streaming of the Tiger Coaching Show. During the next 30 minutes, we'll talk with the head coach of the Tiger football team, Joshua Eargle, and also visit with Lindsey Mash, the head coach of the Lady Tiger volleyball team. We're live from CiCi's Pizza in Marshall, Texas. Thank you for clicking in this afternoon. And if you're in Marshall, driving around, listening to you on your iPhone through your car or at the office, come out to CiCi's between the noon hour today. For $5, you can have the buffet, and that includes the drink. It's very special Tiger special for you today. Of course, in the broadcast booth with me Saturday night as the Tigers won over Austin College was Jason Souls, who is also the director of missions at ETBU. And Jason, your first look at the Tigers on the field this year, what did you think?
Well, I felt real good about their ability to bounce back from the week before, and guys really came out, performed. We saw, got the chance to see Toy Glover come out and really put a stamp on the game, and of course Worthington and Grice, the guys that were named Player of the Week, had real good games as well. When you're not just playing Austin College on Saturday like we talked about during the broadcast. You're fighting a lot of demons, and it was good for them to come out and respond the way they did with positivity and give us something to carry over to next week. But we're still leaving a few things knowing we got to work on. We didn't hit perfection last week, and I'm sure Coach will touch on that in a minute, but I'm very excited to see a win for the first home game of the season.
Well, Jason, let's turn our attention now to the head football coach of ETBU, Joshua Eargle. And Joshua, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Mike. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you here today at CiCi's Pizza for our first Tiger Coaches football show, volleyball show, as well as other fall sports. And Coach, let's go talk about the game Saturday night at Ornelas Stadium. Your first win of the season, and I was looking over some information. It was your first win as a head coach of the Tigers as you're in your second year at home. You won on the road last year. It had been a great feeling for the Tigers to win.
Yeah, Mike, it was a great time to get that monkey on my back, so to speak. It's we used to have such a great fan base, awesome students, unbelievable faculty. So it was a good experience to be able to get in there in Ornelas Stadium and get a win in front of those fans and our home crowd, get to see the kid perform in such a good way.
Kind of talk about the atmosphere before the ball game Saturday night. I went through Tiger Alley and enjoyed visiting with students, members of your Gridiron Club, even ran into your wife, Kristen, and talked with her. Talk about the experience that people have when they come on campus for a Tiger football game.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, it's something that, you see that at very few small colleges, and what ETBU has is really, really special. They have a tight-knit community that's a family. Everyone loves on one another and supports one another in everything they do. And 3 hours before kickoff, Tiger Alley opens up and music's blaring, and the food, you smell the smells of the food, and everybody's out there having a good time, just food, fun, and fellowship, just like we like to do at ETBU. And so we walk the team through there, and we call it Tiger Walk 2 hours before kickoff. And just allow everybody to clap and cheer and root on those guys who play football. But it's also a great time for the band to play. It's also a great time for our spirit squads and our cheerleading group to go through there and get exposure and stuff, because it's about everybody getting kind of exposure to the ETBU experience, and everybody creates that atmosphere. And the atmosphere is what makes it a lot of fun. And as you went to the game Saturday, as we got closer to kickoff, I couldn't believe the outcry, the outpour of fans we had, and it was just a great atmosphere to play in with the students there in the north end zone now.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. That looked great, in the north end zone.
It just, they cheering at the right times, and we encourage more than that. By count, we had almost half the student body there, so I'm ready to find the other half the student body there this Saturday night.
Well, Coach, let's talk about the nuts and bolts of the win over Austin College. You beat them by a final score of 43-27. Of course, with that season-opening loss, everybody was wondering, how will your Tigers respond to that season-opening loss? And let's talk about the game. They scored first, but the Tigers never gave up.
Yeah, really, Mike. You can go back to the week of preparation before that, and three young men helped us get to that point. And Tristan Moore helped us out getting our offense ready, and he was our defensive player of the week for our scout team. And our offensive player of the week was Joe Bautista. He ran both huddles of the offense against our defense to get them ready. And special teams player of the week was Jordan Brown. And Jordan Brown did a phenomenal job. He did so well on special teams scout team, and we're actually going to get a look at him this week against Southwestern, dressing out for the first time as a Tiger, as a freshman from San Antonio Madison. So it really started in preparation, started how they approached with the workman-like attitude on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Carried over to the walkthroughs on Friday and Saturday morning. And then when the Tigers took the field, they had a purpose in their heart of rectifying and showing really who we were as a team.
Of course, the American Southwest Conference recognized 2 of your players in the ball game for their performances. The offensive player of the week went to your quarterback, Josh Worthington, and the special teams player of the week went to Wayne Grice. Talk about those 2 individuals real quick.
Yeah, Josh Worthington's off to a pretty good start. You know, last year we had some injury issues at the quarterback position, and Josh didn't start the year, and he had a rolled ankle early in the year, but he started the last 5 games for us. In those 5 games, he threw for almost 2,000 yards in 5 games, and that's a pretty salty stat. Well, so he comes in the year as our starter this year, and in 2 games, he's 3rd in the nation in yards per game passing. So we've got a phenomenal quarterback leading our football team right now. He was also voted as a junior captain of our football team on the offensive side. So we're really excited about Josh and the performance he had Saturday, but not just Saturday, but overall. He's doing a great job of leading our football program.
Now, who is Wayne Grice, the one who got the special teams award? Never seen him before. He's a freshman. Wow, did he return for a lot of yardage Saturday?
Yeah, Wayne Grice is a young man we're extremely excited about. And I know Coach Walden, he'd probably put 8 receivers on the field if he could. And I think we're that deep a receiver. We can only put 4 out there. I would expect to see him more and more as we progress on the offensive side. He's caught a few balls this year, but we've got to get him on the field somewhere. And so that's where we put him at our kickoff return because he's so electric and he's got such a great burst and speed. And he proved that. And he got opportunities to return the kicks. The first week, a lot of them were in the end zone. And this week, he got some returnable kicks and did a great job of reading the blocks and getting some yardage. And had a longer 53, but had a lot of return yards, I believe 136 or so. So just a great job.
Listen to the Tigers Coaches Show on the ETBU Sportsnet. Head coach of the football Tigers, Joshua Eargle. Lindsey Mash from the volleyball team is going to join us here in a minute live from CiCi's in Marshall, Texas. And Jason Souls. Jason, I know you want to talk to Coach Eargle about the defensive play we saw on the field Saturday night at Ornelas.
Yeah, Coach, Austin College came out hot and were able to move the ball a little bit early on, and then I felt like the defense stepped up, specifically the D-line, Ja'Cory Hunter and David James. Seemed like we batted maybe 5 or 6 balls down throughout the day. Was that something you guys saw in practice, that quarterback was going to sit back, so you had to get in your lanes and get your hands up to knock down some passes?
Well, the defense did respond well, and I really felt like, except for 2 possessions, we really made them earn every yard that they got, and that's something we really talked about to our young defense. And now we had a lot of long play drives, and we were making them earn it, but we wanted to be able to get off the field on 3rd and 4th down. That's something we've got to really work on, and we have been this week in practice. But yeah, David James, Ja'Cory Hunter, that defensive line had a good night for us. David James specifically, just one of those phenomenal nights. He was ETBU. He was our defensive player of the week. He's the guy we nominated in our room and talked to our team about. The young man, after an unbelievable special teams play by Dylan Bowman and Josh Battle batting a punt back and pin him inside the 5. A couple plays later, David James comes off the backside, on the backside of a run play, tackles the running back in the end zone, gets to safety by himself. Then later on in the game, he comes off the edge, sacks the quarterback, strips the quarterback, and recovers the fumble all in one play. He has 6 passes. He has 6 tackles, solo tackles by himself, and like you mentioned, he batted down 2 balls, which is the best pass defense any coach could ever ask for. And so he did a great job playing for us. The defense line, Ja'Cory Hunter, is always very active. I can't say enough about Ja'Cory Hunter, senior leader. I don't know if you could pick his voice out of a group of people because he never says 2 words, but he's just a great leader on our campus at ETBU. He represents ETBU the right way, on and off the field and in and out of the classroom. And they did a good job of getting their hands up when they don't get to the passer. We try to teach them that if we can get to the passer, we obviously want to do that, but if we don't get there, we won't get our hands up and bat some balls down. So they had a good night doing that.
Now, are you sure that your defensive coordinator, Keith Faggett, did not bring in brooms and broomsticks to knock those balls down? Because, I mean, you knocked down 3 in the game, and it was amazing to see that happen as they're making that penetration to the quarterback.
They did a pretty good job, and even we had a linebacker get his hand on the ball. Blake Watkins almost picked it and tipped up, and they almost picked it off himself. But we're just really excited about those guys and how hard they're playing on defense right now. They are doing a good job of batting some balls and playing some pass defense. We blew 2 pass coverages. That's really where we busted on defense, where we didn't make them earn it. But we're excited about the growth of that group in week 2.
Let's talk about the offensive side of the football in the game. Your win over Austin College, 43-27 last Saturday night. Troy Glover's been out because of an injury, but you're able to get him in the ball game, and wow, he popped off some yardage. He had 8 carries, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. The longest was 25. It was good to see him in that lineup Saturday night.
Oh, it's always phenomenal. As a head football coach, I want to see Troy Glover in that football game. 10 games last year, 1,000-yard rusher. I mean, that's comfort to me as being a head football coach here. So he got in there. He averaged 8 yards a carry. You can't ask for anything more out of the young man. He's doing some good things. The offensive line did a good job of getting on people and running their feet and giving Toy an opportunity to get behind his pads and lower his pads. That's how style runner Toy is. He is a behind his pads, downhill, no juke moves, just going to run you over type of bulldoze type runner. And we've got some other guys this year that are going to help Toy even be better because they're different style running backs. But really excited to have Toy back on the field for us. He's a great offensive leader for us.
Of course, you had good receiving in the ball game. Jason and I were thrilled with how Roy Butler played, as long as Tyler Bates, and then Stephen Alford. Who's Stephen Alford, Jason?
Yeah, definitely the new guy coming in here 2 weeks in a row and having big performances, and he was just a couple balls knocked away at the last second from having a couple other big gainers. Saw him on campus. He mentioned how good a game he played, and he said he's excited, but this is just the beginning. Talk a little bit about Alford and how easy it is for him with those known guys already being out there, teams knowing they got to worry about the Roy Butlers, the Tyler Bates, and how he can make an impact on the team this year.
Yeah, Jason, our receiving core is the best I've ever been around, and I had the opportunity of being in some small college places where we put two guys in the NFL, and then Jermaine Sherman leaves us last year after being with us just 1 year and gets a shot with the Rams, and so we're really excited about the offense we're running. The receivers specifically are extremely deep. Now, the things we've got to do as coaches is we've got 8 or 9 guys that are very capable of starting for the Tigers, and there's one football and only 4 guys can start in our offense and in our formations. So we've got to do a lot of encouraging with those guys, but they're doing a good job. I mean, Stephen Alford's coming here. He's a transfer. He's bounced around a couple places, but really stuck 2 years at Tyler Junior College for Coach Palmer over there. Did a good job for them playing receiver, and we're very lucky to have Stephen Alford. Feel like he's a phenomenal young man who's showing great growth, nothing but great character since we've had him. And on the field, he's extremely talented. He attacks the football. That's probably the best thing he does. All of our outside receivers can get behind DBs. They're very talented that way. But when the ball's in the air, Stephen Alford thinks it's got his name on it, and he rises up and gets up in the air and attacks it with both hands and rips it out of the air. And that's a talent. That's a skill. Not everybody can do that. Like you mentioned, on the inside, we have Tyler Bates and Roy Butler. Those two guys are jitterbug guys, catch a bunch of bubbles, crossing routes, corner routes, wheel routes for us, and we're really excited about the year they've gotten off to. They're leading our team in receptions, both of them. I think they're averaging around 6 or 7 per game. Really excited about those two guys getting off to a good start. On the outside, what you've also got is who no one's talking about. We're really excited about as a coach staff is Roy Dembo. Roy Dembo, a year ago, we projected to be a starter. We were so excited about Roy Dembo, and in camp, he tore his ACL. So he has really worked this year to come back, trained extremely hard, and we're excited with the growth he's showing. He's back to being the old Roy Dembo. He's catching passes, and he can really stretch the field vertically, and he can also catch a screen and make somebody miss and do some damage. So we're really, due to the receiver's position, really excited about those guys.
Yeah, Roy had 4 catches in that win against Austin College. His longest was 37. He's just another thread in the receiver corps. We're going to take a break here on the ETBU Sportsnet as we're live from CiCi's Pizza on the Tiger Coaches Show. Be back in just a moment to talk about this week's game the Tigers face. They're at home again, playing Southwestern University from Georgetown University. Back with more of the Tigers Coaches Show in just a moment.
When it comes to your internet, you don't want kinda fast. You want
in Marshall, Texas. Hi, I'm Mike Minkiff along with Jason Souls, and right now we're talking with the head football coach of the ETBU Tigers, Joshua Eargle. In just a moment, Lindsay Mashville sitting in the chair, and we'll talk to her about her Lady Tiger volleyball team. Of course, the Tigers won last Saturday night against Austin College, their first win of the year. They're 1-1, defeated Austin College 43-27. Been talking to Coach Eargle about that game, but it's time now, Coach, to focus our attention on the week ahead. 7 p.m. kickoff again at Ornelas this week, Southwestern University. They are a football team that just started their program after an absence since 1950, and last week they got their first win since 1950. What do you expect from the Pirates as they come into Ornelas Stadium this Saturday at 7?
Well, Coach Austin does a great job there, and when we took that field down in Georgetown last year, and our coaching staff talked about this on Sunday as we started to turn our attention towards them. When they came out on the field and for game warm-ups, I'm asking Coach Austin, hey, where'd you get all these guys? They look pretty on the hoof. I mean, they got some great-looking athletes, long, tall, lean, at every position. They're still young in nature. They're with their second group. I think they recruited a small group, and then they've got 2 big classes behind it. So the majority of their football team's got a few juniors sprinkled in, but mainly sophomores and freshmen. And but they're going to be a formidable opponent coming here to Ornella Stadium. They play extremely, extremely hard. What they do schematically is different than anybody we see the whole year on both sides of the football. So it's really caused us to scramble as a coaching staff to give our guys a good plan. And we've been working really hard this week in practice trying to get our guys prepared for what they're going to see on Saturday.
So talk a little bit about last year's game. Obviously lost our quarterback early in that game, and that was kind of the emergence of Josh and how he kind of took the reins, and you know, he was hurt a little bit later, but it's kind of been the guy since then.
He has. You know, that game was really rough for us. We went down there to Georgetown, and we played on that turf, and we lost 2 defensive ends for the year, and we lost a quarterback for the year in that game. So that was a game that really hurt us player-wise as far as depth. Now we had some guys, some young men step up last year, and it really helped us in those positions. And that is where Josh kind of took over, and he was able to come in kind of late in the game and get comfortable, and that was able to give him, I think, the success he's starting to feel now. But that was the first time we saw Warrenton in this offense. We ended up seeing, I think, 2 or 3 quarterbacks that game in our offense, and we had a good night last year against them. But this isn't the same Southwestern team. They're a year older, they're a year more developed in those schemes Coach Austin's running, and so we'll have our hands full this Saturday.
Coach, looking back to last week, I know it's hard to say a team that moved the ball like we did and scored as many points as we did may not have been clicking on all cylinders. How do you see progression on the offensive side of the ball this week? What are things that you see as key areas that you need to get better at, or that you guys are working toward this week?
Well, Jason, the number one thing as a football coach, or the head coach, as I'm looking at everything, the time possession scares me a little bit. I've got a lot of guys on defense that are playing on special teams also. And so this last game, for example, we were on the field 40 minutes, plus we were playing special teams. One way on offense that I need us to be able to take care of, we can't afford to have a 3 and out. By the nature of our offense, we go extremely fast, we score fast, and that's great. That's what we want to do. We want to put defense on their heels, and we want to constantly be attacking as a football team in general, much less our offense. But what we've got to be able to do from the offensive side speaking is we can't afford to go 3 and out. We've got to keep their defense on the field and keep them constantly retreating is what we're trying to get accomplished. So this week we've got to be great on first down. That first down is very, very important. Coach Walden talks to those young men about that all the time. We're going for 4 yards on first down. That keeps us ahead of the chains. That gets us moving in the right direction. So that's what we've really been focusing on this week in practice is first down execution and staying ahead of the chains, and that way we get that first down, and then we kind of get in our rhythm, and that's when we really take off, Jason. When we get that first down every series, you start to see them going at warp speed. It's unbelievable how fast this offense can really get going.
Final question, Coach. Of course, last week Southwestern won 27-20 over ASC conference member Solval State, 27-20. Any final thoughts as you head to the game Saturday and how practice needs to go this week in order for a Tiger victory Saturday night?
Well, we talk every week about our faceless opponent, about just working on us, and our goal every week is to get better as a football team. So what the Tigers really been focusing on this week, Mike, is just the details, the little fundamentals. We've got to do better stopping the run on the inside, getting off blocks and maintaining our gaps in the run game. And on offense, we want to continue to develop like we just talked about. But I think this group of kids showing the resilience they showed last week, which I thought was phenomenal. It was beyond me. That was complete credit to those young men. They're going to respond in a positive way this week. We were coming off a loss last week. We're coming off a win this week. They're responding the right way in practice. We had a phenomenal day yesterday in practice. I just love this group of kids, and I love them because they're fun to coach. They got great character. They play relentlessly. Doesn't matter what the score is. Doesn't matter what the down is. We're just having a lot of fun as a family right now in that football field house, just representing ETBU.
Coach Eargle, thank you for your time today on the Tiger Coaching Show.
Thank you, Mike.
That's Joshua Eargle, the head football coach of the ETBU Tigers. Looking forward to the game Saturday night, 7 p.m. at Ornella Stadium. Kickoff at 7 p.m.